So, in the case of Maya and Gio in the Philippines, or Gio and Maya in the Philippines, nowadays, in the current situation, well, they fell apart. I mean, the relationship or the agreement they had on their, in their channel and the marriage and the whole thing, went in smokes, basically, in smokes. And well, have you learned anything? If anything, there is to be learned from myself and from you, of course, for your experience. Um, the whole thing about final last collaboration uh, between Gio and Maya that they have been announcing, and well, they took place not long ago. Um, the whole thing, there are more questions than answers at the end. At the very end, well, the video lasted what, 12 minutes or so, but it was it was almost like saying a little publicity stunt, Filipino style, or like a Dumaguete drama continuing in the third or fourth chapter of a boring soap opera at 2 in the morning. But let's this is not like to throw mud on them or to make gossiping or anything. To continue like what they're saying is like there's so much gossiping going on, so they had to. One of the reasons of this so-called last collaboration, quote unquote, right? It just I still don't get it. What was exactly what was explained on these 12 minutes of video that they sat together there? Some yard. I'm not sure if it's the backyard of her house or his place, but it seems that there was a table. I mean, nothing fancy, just a table there. He was sitting there. He sat there. Who knows how long? And then, well, apparently there was a previously staged or prepared, so he can be there waiting for her to show up. So the camera went on. I mean, press record, and then she comes and say hi. Well, and then he said, surprise. Well, this was for, and she took the lead. Of course, it's her channel now. I mean, this is a channel of her own, right? Now he has his own channel. It used to be, Gio and Maya, right? But well, it's her channel. I'm not, nothing wrong with she, for her to be conducting the interview, right? Conducting it. I don't know how much, in other videos when they were still together, the she always sat on the middle of the table on the middle of this center stage on camera, and he was very much on her left side to the corner of the camera, kind of. I watched a few of them, and it seems that she always has been on center stage of this situation. I'm not. Look, I'm not inflating more of this. I'm saying that meant something, but look, body language, body language counts. I mean, if you try to communicate something, and being on the public eye like them, right? They're like considered a power couple of the YouTube community, one of the power couples of the YouTube community. I'm not saying they're the only one, right? Of course, Paul of the Baghetti and others, of course, they're still on. I mean, they're Brian the Lion and others more in BGC and many others, that has been on the public eye for some time. So the thing about last collaboration, I mean, of course, what she's saying that, well, that one of the complaints is that for most viewers and subscribers that have been following this couple, I didn't start watching them until not long ago. Of course, last year, I think, early last year sometime. Wasn't that bad. I mean, there was good information. Nothing wrong with it. I mean, once you are in the public eye, guys, once any of us, I mean, you and me, or of course, you need to have a thick skin to take criticism. Criticism, reviews, comments, some in favor, some not too in favor. I should be able to answer, questions. I should be able to, nothing wrong with that. And, reviews, criticism. Of course, there could be some extreme situations, and people will throw, like, not a constructive way. They try to damage your reputation. That's a different issue, different story. But the idea of that this last so-called last collaboration was made, the purpose is what, to clarify, quote unquote, let's say, they wanted to clarify the situation. Clarify to whom? I mean, clarify to the viewers, to the public, to, they say, well, their friends, or there's some people has been hurt. I mean, there's pain inflicted to, who knows? I mean, to friends and to other people that they did not name there. Of course, they didn't say specifically their children. Of course, they are both single. She was a single mom, and he was a single dad with sons, right? He mentioned sons in plural, meaning 2 or 3 sons, 2 sons I think he's had in case of Gio, right? So I mean, if they're both single parents, I mean, of course they know what they do. Myself, I was a single father. I was a single dad before, uh, I married my wife, my current wife, a little more than a year ago. And so we very much, I mean, being single dad, single mom, of course, and she's not that exactly very young either, and he's not that old either. So the issue of age gap, different, ages and culture. I mean, I don't think there's that much of age gap. There's some of it, but not the extreme, not the 30 or 40 years old, age gap. It's perhaps a single digit, maybe a little more, but not that, big difference. So the idea when they said, well, we have to think about this, guy. Think about this. I mean, I was thinking, I mean, myself about this. That she said, well, we are not ready to have a family. I mean, seriously? You get married? I mean, you marry somebody after knowing the person? I mean, dating and for a few months and then get together, knowing each other, introducing both of your families. I mean, that you are not ready to have a family now? I mean, more than a year later after the marriage, they said, no, we're not ready to have a family. But that was supposed to be before, wasn't it? I mean, before getting married, to explore the possibility of having a family. I mean, you marry to have a family, right? So what was the reason that you got married in the first place? If now, almost 2 years later, you're saying, right, that that you are not ready to have a family. I mean, it takes 2 years to find out. Oh, it takes 5 years in a relationship to find out. Well, guess what, guys? I'm not ready to have a family, so we're parting, our way. We're going our own way. She's going this way. I'm going away. We have a different set of priorities. I mean, didn't you talk about that before getting married? I mean, very well knowing. Look, Gio is a very well informed person, and she looks very much. She sounds very much a college educated in the Filipino, in the Filipino I mean, the Philippines, of course, right? I'm not saying Ivy League college, but she managed to present herself very well on camera. And of course, her speech looks like she knows what she's doing. Basically, what she was doing before and what she's doing now too. I mean, she's now, she was conducting the whole interview. I mean, basically, and he was just answering. When she says, "So what do you have to say about me?" I thought he was gonna volunteer to say. I mean, he was gonna be proactive. I'm saying, look, hold on, I want to say something. Before she was asking him to say something. I mean, it has to be from the heart. I mean, from his heart, saying that what he wanted to say. But he was apparently was pressured to say, "Don't you want to say something about me? I mean, now that this is our last collaboration, or something like that." So, I mean, it's just a little odd. Like I said, there are more questions than answers at the end of the video, in the middle. I mean, from start to the first minute, 2 minutes later, you're still wondering what is this all about. 5-6 minutes into the video, you still have, okay, so what is it? I mean, tell me what is it? And when it's approaching the the end of it, you're still wondering what is this video all about? Is it a publicity stunt, Filipino style? Is it that this? I mean, I'm not speculating. I mean, I'm just, but of course I have to, trying to figure out myself for so I can learn something from it. I mean, I wanna, I wanna learn something from it too. I'm sure you too, right? In relationship, in relationship, even if we are single or not single or married or something, we wanna learn something so we can, so I can do better. I mean, I'm making this video, I mean, for you and for me too, so I can learn something from, I can explore this. Of course, I expect you, I mean, hopefully your comments about, this experience of this power couple. I'm saying power couple in a way, not, demeaning, I mean, not throwing mud at them. I'm just, because they have been in the public eye a long time, and they put themselves on the public eye. So why not? I mean, you can review to see what's going on, and not just that. I mean, what's gonna be next? I mean, what's next after this, guys? I mean, this fellow. I mean, is it gonna be that there was gonna be then a family reunion after he goes back to the United States? He said that he needs more time. He's reconnecting. Think about this. He is reconnecting with his sons. Uh, after how many? After how long? What was she the reason that he was disconnected with his sons? We don't know that. I'm not. This is not to, to that much, to speculate anything. Only Gio knows how his relationship with his sons has been prior to marrying, Maya, right? I mean, we don't know. I mean, was she the motive of this disconnection, or maybe not? I'm just, you know, I'm just throwing, exploring the issue of a relationship. This is not about particularly specific, particularly about, that I'm like, on them, I'm criticizing them, or this, this is an open issue for anybody. This issue for me. It's an issue for you too. I mean, if you're single, it's still an issue for you too. So it can help you, guys. If it can help you to make the right decision. So this is not just gossiping or anything. This is your point by point, right? I'm trying to bring you point by point from the beginning, just so you and I can explore and can debate. I mean, even debate, with comments, and 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 and, and any way you wanna comment about, and say and say anything about them, about me. Like I said, I'm talking about me here too. I I was a single dad too. I had my son, right, before marrying my current wife. But the thing is that I wasn't in my case disconnected to my son. I'm not disconnected now either. I'm very well connected. I'm closer than ever with my son. Which my current wife is not the mother, of course. Is not the mother of my son, of course. Uh, so when I married my current wife, she was a single mom. So I was a single dad, and she was a single mother too with a son, right? So it's very much a similar situation with Maya and Gio. So it's kind of personal to me, in a way that when I knew about this story, about what was going on with them. I mean, how can I apply that experience to my own experience? This is to so you know so I can of course learn something from it, and I can better my own relationship too. Just like you said, I mean, if you are in a situation like them, like this couple, or that they are divorcing, of course in the Philippines, it's not legal divorce. I mean, it's not legal. He explained it, carefully, that he's going back to the States and get divorced in the U.S., which is the proper procedure, of course, and then bring it back, the paperwork, when it's done a few months later, most likely, if everything done, they don't have like a mutual children. They apart, of course. He has his own son, she has a daughter, right? So there's no issue of having a child in common. So these were really the paperwork. He explained it carefully, that to the Philippines with an attorney to have the procedure done, so the judge can validate that what has been done in the States legally, so the marriage can be legally, the divorce can be finalized in the Philippines. So the whole drama starts in the Philippines, goes to the States, second chapter, third chapter goes back the whole procedure to the Philippines back, right? Going, think about that. Starting in the Philippines, the whole drama, the whole soap opera, going to the States, to to wherever the judge is gonna proceed there with a lawsuit, of course, of the demand for divorce. Once that it's done in the States, bring those papers to be finalized in the Philippines. I mean, it's gonna what last another, who knows, another year, 6 months, year, and in the Philippines, once this paperwork comes to the Philippines, it's gonna take even more. So in the meantime, well, they say we remain friends. Guys, seriously? I mean, what is the difference between remain friends with your ex-wife? I mean, you are divorcing, or your husband. Is it a thing about being friends, quote unquote? I mean, can you be friend really, really seriously with your ex-wife or your ex-husband? There's a big difference. You can be friendly, but not friends. I mean, I'm married to my wife right now, which we have a 20 years difference, age difference. This is big year, you know, gap. I mean, big age gap. I mean, right? So now that I have my current wife, well, I'm gonna tell my wife tonight or anytime, Well, I had remained friends with my ex-wife. Think about if I say something like that, right? I don't. Well, she's my friend, so I want to go for dinner with my friend, which is my ex. Think about that. I mean, is that the way you can be friendly? Of course, the mother of my son is this still the mother of my son, right? The one that I have divorced long ago. I can remain, communication about my son, and you can be friendly in that communication. Friendly in that communication, you can be polite. This is a different situation. It's different. There's a big difference. Or you tell me, what's the difference of being friendly and being friends? And 2 or 3 times in that 12-minute video, they repeated. She said once. He said a couple of times, twice at least, that we remain friends. Meaning you're gonna remain friends for the rest of the year, forever. For how long? I mean, uh, think about that. I mean, so it's a little shaky. Are they gonna have? Well, months later, we're gonna find out um that well, now they're getting back. The whole thing didn't go. I mean, they miss each other so much. Well, look, biblically, I mean, the reconciliation is possible, right? I mean, I'm not saying they shouldn't be. So I'm not, like, one of the comments she was trying to imply is that, oh, just the miserable people. Well, I think he was the one. Just those miserable people that try making comments about this, and that's not the truth. This is the fact. This is that's pure lies about this. Well, it could be. It could be. Some people will throw things out of there just if it sticks, right? I mean, think that they don't care. But I'm just point by point using quoting what they're presenting to us. I mean, they're getting on the public eye, presenting to everyone, point by point what they're saying, being friendly. I mean, think about that. And then, so if you really see it carefully, at the very the last part of the video, she says, well, he's the one where first she implied that they still love each other, but they have to they do their own thing on their own ways. She's saying there that the green card issue was never an issue, that he says that he was trying to explain that when he met Maya, that Maya was already she had her own business, that her own she had things going for her, that she wasn't another struggling poor Filipino. Look, using that expression, that's not my expression, of course. That's his expression, trying to imply that basically he's throwing all Filipina, or all or most Filipina women who are struggling and poor. I mean, throwing under the bus, with that kind of expression. Maybe he didn't say in bad faith. Maybe he's trying to communicate this issue in good faith. I don't doubt that. I don't doubt it, right? But the more it seems to be that the more they dig it into it to clarify, apparently clarify things among themselves, the more it's gonna be there's gonna be more speculation about what the motive of the whole process, the whole thing is. I mean, like I said before, are they gonna like make another family reunion about reconciliation? Which, if it happens, I congratulate them. They can work it out, right? I mean, if they say that they still remain friends. I mean, if it's true that they still, maybe out of that friendship, now they'll reconsider themselves. You know, the situation, the decision. Maybe it's not final. I'm not speculating about that. Maybe it's not final. Maybe you have, if, look, if this is a publicity stunt, apparently, well, she said, well, he was the one, like saying that, well, after that, people were saying that after hitting the mark of 30,000 subscribers, I mean, what is the obsession of having, X amount of subscribers? Well, myself, with my channel is still a small channel, but look, yes, we want the subscriber, we want to monetize. I'm honest about that too, right? But the obsession of having a 50,000, 20,000, what is, I mean, it's this, are they really feeding into the speculation of having 30,000, the mark, or 30,000 subscribers, the mark of 30,000, and then that she's gonna dump him, or then that, that if that wasn't the case, why they had divided, why they had them, him, having his own channel, and she is the one having a different channel, from some time ago, not right now, right? But of course, as a couple, you can support each other, right? You are the female, the wife is for the husband is for the wife, to support each other. Nothing wrong with that, right? But well, the 30,000 now is not 30,000 subscribers, right? A month later, it's 35,000, which I congratulate her. I mean, if this was a strategy, it did work. I mean, 35,000 over, right? A month later, no, like I think it was three and a half weeks later, after announcing, right, that the so-called last collaboration, right? So who knows? I mean, are they gonna have? Is this gonna be like the Rolling Stones? The last concert, the last world tour of these bands sometimes, and then say, well, it's not done yet. We're still kicking. We're still, I mean, the other one, so Bono, the other, all these famous legends bands. Of course, this couple is a legend, in the YouTube community, in the Filipino, Dumaguete. I mean, BGC, on the whole YouTube world, in the Philippines, and in other parts of the world too. So there's going to be no surprise if there's another announcement, couple weeks, couple months later, about what's going to happen next. What's the next chapter? In the meantime, hopefully this reflection, of relationships helps me out, and and helps you to make a, the only thing they're right. The only thing I think, I agree with them, is that when something like this happens, a divorce, even if there is no children in the middle of it, it's painful. I mean, there's no question about that. But the motive is very still suspicious. The more they start digging again, or try to get another angle of the situation, I mean, it could get just worse. I mean, worse meaning, right? Now, one of them going to a different country. I mean, apparently he's going back to the States. Leaving the situation in the Philippines as is. And after this announcement of and presentation of the 12-minute video of so-called last collaboration, I mean, think about the collaboration part of it. I mean, collaborating with your ex, you already have filed for divorce, you're collaborating closely, and they say, well, the only motive is to clarify. They could have clarified, in their own ways. I mean, why not? Or sign a public statement, a letter, right? In which they both can just sign a document saying, well, this is Gio and Maya, a nice letter to their subscribers or to their viewers, right? It could be done, they could have done in a letter, two-page letter, 5-page letter, but they chose a video for views, for more subscribers. Who knows? I mean, I'm not saying that's exactly the motive, but it seems that the way it's going, well, not long, not too many days later after that emotional final collaboration, she was, I mean, was interviewed by another YouTuber, a Filipino YouTuber, and she was, I mean, after that emotional, painful sit down with Gio in that final collaboration. Days later, I mean, well, I'm not just, I'm not here to blame her or blame him about anything. I'm just exploring. I mean, body language is very important, guys. It's very important. It's extremely important when you're giving a message. And they were giving us a message. I'm giving you a message at this moment. I'm giving you. I'm looking into myself too, inside me. I having a reflection of myself. Of myself, my situation, my own relationship. How things are going. So days later, like I said before, days later, when this interview with a Filipino YouTuber, she Maya says she was all like happy as it can be. I mean, happy. Look, um, if you're if you are in the middle, when I was in the middle of my divorce, I mean, uh, for months I couldn't even hardly smile. But she was all happy, very well groomed, very well. She looks beautiful. I mean, younger. I mean, refreshed. I mean, she looked stunning and happy as ever. Just days later, after almost having tears on her eye. I mean, is that a what tells us? I mean, tells me about the final collaboration when she was just about to apparently she the tears on her eyes, right? I mean, that tells me something. What is it? Is the second video in the interview with the Filipino YouTuber where she was stunning, laughing out aloud about, oh, I'm here to tell you. I mean, the whole thing. So is it one thing or the other thing? The other, that you are really sad, you are devastated. If you are devastated being in the middle of a divorce and separated with Jill, she said was everything was for love, not for money. Not that not that he was bringing out of poverty another poor Filipina woman, right? A struggling Filipina woman, as he put, as he put it, right? But she was all stunningly exploding and laugh, and with the other girl that they share, on camera. So the whole thing about it seems to me a little I'm not gonna say suspicious, but uh, I went through that kind of that experience, and it wasn't like that. I'm not saying that my experience has to be some exactly with something. I have my own experience. We all have our own life experiences. She has, they have their own life experiences. I have mine too, right? And how we approach our new. I mean, we learn. I learn from this. What's gonna be my new relationship going forward, right? For myself too. Myself. How about you? If you're single, if you're even if you're married, or if you're planning to, you're still in process of marrying a Filipino, don't you make you think twice about what's going on in the Filipino, in the Philippines? I mean, don't you? I mean, don't be disturbed. I'm not saying. I mean, I'm not throwing here a little poison pill. I mean, by saying that, oh, you have to be distrustful. Of course, they are legitimate. I was just talking about Mark Thornton and his young wife with all 40 years age gap. One of the most beautiful stories. I mean, ended up, of course, in tragic situation, but it was a story almost. I said I'm not saying that everything perfect, but because of the situation that they went through, but almost a perfect story. I mean, we all dream of that kind of that kind of relationship in which you have the loyalty, and loyalty, 100% loyalty. Nothing in between. I mean, that's first thing in a relationship, right? Loyalty, 100%. I mean, it's biblically, truthful too. I mean, the first thing in your life is your loyalty to each other. I mean, there's a right. And one of the things that I mentioned, for instance, was that their friends, they're not talking about their mutual friends. I thought they want to say, oh, well, we have our mutual friends. They, she said that her friends, that there was an issue about that, or comments about that her friends were involved in this and that, and then he says that he has his own friends too. I assume American friends, expats friends, what the so-called expat friends. So I was expecting to hear something about mutual friends. If you have mutual friends in a marriage, right? Mutual, that my wife and myself, our friends are mutual friends, not my friends, right? And not her friends either. Of course, she can have, if friends or coworker, I assume. But the closest people in our lives, the closest person in my life is my wife, of course. And I'm assuming, I mean, of course, I trust her, that I'm the closest person her life is it's my son, right? I mean, you are a couple, you become one, right? When you're married, what the in church married, and even government, legally married by the municipality marrying you by the government, by the law of the land, you become one person, being you are for each other, right? So the so-called, it's called, I mean, we can have friends, right? But is it that, I mean, was she implying that her friends, in a way, that she had before marrying Gio was more important? I mean, is it more important or still more important to him now that they're divorcing basically? Well, she, or his friends too. I mean, if I'm a friend of a family, another couple, another family, I'm just friend, guys. I mean, we get together for barbecue, for this and that, but your friends are your friends, not the closest person in your life. The first friend number one is your wife. I mean, your wife, your significant other, the love of your, that's your best friend. There is no best friend outside you. I mean, even some people say, "Oh, this is my best friend," right? But in reality, in the real world, fellow, fellows, the real world, your best friend is your spouse, with the male or female. I mean, right? I mean, your husband or your wife. So hopefully, I'm sure that thanks for staying the whole video, and and we learn, what have we learned from uh, this experience of Gio and Maya. Well, those points that I just mentioned to you, and that hopefully this will help us, improve in our relationship we have, if you have one, right, already, if you are married, and if you are not married, for a single, as a single person looking for that love of your life in a foreign land. Of course, the Philippines is a beautiful country, traditional values, I mean, that we can talk about more in some other videos, or keep the conversation going. But hopefully this will, video will like you, will that you'll like these comments. And thanks for watching, and see you in the next video, guys. Bye. Thanks.